Hi everybody, it's Kelly with Sewful Creations, and today we're making the Bellisima Bag by ObysBagPattern. This is a cute little clutch or shoulder bag if you choose to add a chain. It comes in two sizes. This is the smaller version. It's sort of like a little origami mixed with bag making, you know, because you have all these folds and lines. So it's very interesting. There's very few pieces, very little interfacing, very little hardware. So it's just all in what you choose, mostly some rivets. I put this little detail on the back. So you can just use some rings, or I added a little extra little chain bit that I liked. You can choose to make it with the strap by adding some grommets or not. It's all up to you. There's a slip pocket on the back that fits your phone, some lip gloss or something in there. You have a turn lock. Open that up and you have another pocket here. So this makes for a cute little maybe date night bag, or, you know, going out with the ladies for a drink, or, you know, to a nice little club or whatever you choose to do, and you don't want to carry too much with you. So I think it's adorable. I hope you have fun making this with me. The link for the pattern is in the description. And so let's just get the pattern, follow me, and let's make this cute little Bellisima bag by, again, ObysBagPattern. So to get started making our Bellisima clutch by ObysBagPattern, I think it's ObysBagPattern, sorry. We're going to start off with our flap lining piece. So that's this piece that's shaped like this, and our main lining piece. I'm using this very light, sort of like a suede-ish type material. And this is actually from Luv Lola. And it was like, let me show you. So this is the main piece. So it's made like this, see? So it's just one piece. And so I tried to cut it out where it's going to, this part will be the flap, and then this will be the main part of the bag. So let's see how it works out. So anyway, let's start off with these two pieces. You should have the centers marked on both the bottom of the flap and the top of the main lining. And we're going to put those right sides together. And we'll clip those in place, and then we're going to stitch at 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so this is my first time making this bag, so I will be looking at the instructions a little bit, make sure I'm not leading you astray. Let's see how it goes. Okay. So let's stitch this up. Had to kick my shoe off. 3/8. Okay. Give it a good back stitch here. Alrighty. Okay, so now we're going to trim these little corners off. Don't trim your stitches, so be careful. Just trim these little corners at an angle. Okay. And then we're going to press the seam allowance down toward the main lining. Okay, so we're going to make sure it's going down toward the main lining. And then we're going to top stitch onto the lining. At 1/8 of an inch. So now we have our piece that looks like this. And next we're going to set this aside. And as you can see, this piece looks very much like our main piece, just in reverse. See, that's what I was trying to go for, to have this be the lining to my flap here, so that you see it on both sides. So hopefully I cut that right. Okay, so now we'll have our lining piece, and again, I'm using all the same material here. So this is the lining for my slip pocket and the main piece of my slip pocket. I've marked out 3/8 of an inch at these little angles here, these little bottom angles, the bottom of our slip pocket and across the top, because that's our stitch line. That's where we're going to stitch. So we're going to put these right sides together. I'll add a couple of little clips here on the top and the bottom. Make sure everything's lined up. Okay, and we're going to stitch on the 3/8 of an inch line across the top and across that at the bottom. Okay, and now we'll stitch this angled part at the bottom across here and that. So all right. So now once you have that stitched up, we're going to trim down this seam here to about 1/4 of an inch. Make sure you trim across those points. And then we'll trim the top down as well. Okay. And then we're going to turn this right sides out. Make sure you push out those corners at the bottom. Grab my little chopstick. What do I do with my chopstick? Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to push the corners out. Make sure it looks good. Same thing here, just making sure I got it nice. And then roll those seams flat. And you will have the raw edges on the side. Those will be covered up later. Okay. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And we can add some clips here. We're gonna, whoops. We're gonna give this top stitch. Okay. So we're gonna stitch a little, you don't have to stitch all the way down the side. I'm just going to stitch maybe about an inch on the sides, and we're going to stitch across, top stitching. Okay, this is just to hold this together, because remember, like I said, these sides are going, these raw edges are going to be covered up later. Down this side. Okay, so now we have this part of our slip pocket done. If you want, you can do a second row of top stitching if that's what you like. I'm just going to leave it at the single. Okay, so now what do we have next? We're done with that. This goes really fast, let me tell you. Okay, so now we're going to add it to our main panel. So this one is our main panel. So we're going to get this on. Let's grab our ruler, make sure we're getting it placed correctly. So hopefully I cut this good. Okay, so it says about 5 inches from the bottom. Oh yeah, and then it should be about 3/8 inch in from the sides and a 1/2 inch there. I'm just eyeballing it. That looks pretty good to me right there. Okay, so I'm going to clip this. Just clip. And then we're going to get this sewn on. Okay. So now we're going to finish sewing down the sides across this little angle bottom, across the bottom here, and then back up. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Just start at the, well, go ahead and start at the top, I'm sorry. So go over those stitches you already had there. We want to get the whole sides attached. And make sure you back stitch. Okay. Okay, so now we have that. And by the way, I have my main piece has been interfaced with fusible fleece as recommended by the pattern. So I went ahead and I'm giving this a try. This material is not thick at all. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so now once we have that sewn on, have our slip pocket sewn on, now we're going to place our main panel and our lining panel right sides together. Okay, so they should match up. And we're going to leave an opening at the bottom. So this wider part here is the bottom. And the pattern says leave about 10 inches open at the bottom. So that will be about here to here. Okay, so we'll leave that opening. And we're going to clip everything together. And we're sewing this at a 3/8 of an inch, I believe. 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So let's get everything matching up, all the points and curves. We're going to get everything matched up here. And we're seeing how fast this is going together. At least for now. So let's hope I don't do anything crazy. I always tell Jazzy, this is going to be a quick one. And sometimes it's not the truth.
Yeah, because then you say, I've never made this one before.
Especially when I haven't made it before. I know. I just didn't have the time to make one before.
It's okay, she's skilled, I believe in her.
She's okay, don't jinx me, Jazzy, don't jinx me. Lord, don't jinx me. Okay, so let's get, looks like everything is matching up pretty good. That's a good sign, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get over here. Okay, so very interesting shapes here. All right. So just make sure. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. So now we have that all matched up. Now we're going to sew around everything here. So leave that opening there. So we're going to start here and I'm going to go all the way around and stop here. Okay, making sure I back stitch well. Again, the seam allowance is 3/8. So let's get it. Get my needle dropped in. Okay, give it a good back stitch. And let's go. If you want, you can draw your seam allowances on before you start stitching. Or you can just be like me and hope you turn and pivot at the right places. So that's what I'm hoping I do. Okay, let's see. Is that a good place? Woo! I did it, girl. I did that pivot, girl. Okay. And then I'm just going to, as I pivot, I'm going to just back stitch a little bit at each of those little corners. Okay. Let's see if we get another good place here. Let's see, did I do that one good? Not too bad, not too bad there. And I think I could go one more stitch. Let's stitch there. Let's see. Yeah, it would probably behoove you to mark those seam allowances so you don't have to guess every time. You know, but I'm just a rebel without a cause. Let's see. One more there. I think one more stitch. Yeah, for sure. Go ahead and mark those. Yeah, that's perfect. It will save you some time in the long run to mark out your seam allowances. She says that, I believe. I'm just hard-headed. I'm sorry, the pattern says that. I like to use pronouns without knowing what people prefer. We're almost around. I'm doing pretty good. Figuring out where to start and stop. Okay, almost there. Okay, I made it all the way around. All the loop-de-loops. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to trim down these corners and these points. Let me just see. Okay, so trim. Okay, we're trimming all the seam allowances down, except for in here where we did not sew. Don't trim there. So we're going to trim about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, making sure you trim those points. So I'm just trimming across there. Okay, trim it at an angle here to get rid of that bulk so that you get nice points there. Okay, and we're gonna just trim. So I don't want to bore you with this, but let me just point out here. So when you get the inverted points here, we're going to trim into it. So make a little notch there, as close as you can, like that. We're going to trim that out. And then at the ones that poke out, just trim across like that. Okay, so that we're just removing the bulk. So our corners and points and things look a little crisp. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish doing this. Like I said, here's another one. We're going to notch into that. Make sure you don't clip your stitches, okay? So when I finish this, I'll be back so I don't bore you to death with this part. Okay, so I have it all trimmed out. And then the next thing I did was I made a line. So at the opening, there's a line 3/4 inches up from the raw edge on both sides. And I've added double-sided tape to that raw edge as well. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn this out. We're going to turn it out And hopefully try to mess up my interface in there. So these corners, these little points are going to be a little tight. We're going to use our chopstick to turn that out. But for now, let's get the majority of this turned out. This is why I didn't want to use anything too thick here. Just for all these sharp corners and things. Just poke them out the best you can for now. And let's get this turned out. And we're going to take the chopstick here. And I'm going to push out these corners and these points. This is why we removed as much bulk as we can. So you don't want to use anything too thick for this particular bag here. This is going to be harder to push those points out. Okay, so let's remove the backing from the double-sided tape. That's just me. I'm just I can get very picky about stuff. All right, and that 1/4-inch line that we drew, we're going to fold the raw edge down to meet that line. Okay, so just fold it on down there. Just like that. And we'll do the same thing for this side here. So we have a nice straight. Okay, so now we'll have that like that. Get it smoothed out. And let me just check and see what we're doing next. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to put the male portion of our lock on. Let me just make sure. Yeah, okay. So it's going to go down here. So let me grab my lock. Okay. Grab my lock here. I want to grab the male portion of my lock. Did I not get? Oh, that one has screws. That's interesting. Okay. I'm down for that. Okay. So let me grab my screwdriver now. I'm used to the prongs. I didn't know these had screws. So let's just get this unscrewed. So we're going to remove the screws here and hope I don't lose them. And we're going to make a mark. So I have to find the center. Let me grab a little magnet here to hold my screws in place. Okay. Okay, that too. find the center here. Okay. And what side am I putting this on here? Side with the snap set, with the lock, that is. I mean the lock, the side with the slip pocket. Okay, so slip pocket up. Okay, so there's my center, and I'm gonna mark 3/4 of an inch up. 3/4. So about right there. And right there. So now once we have our mark, now I'm going to use this. Okay. We want this to go here like that, right? Okay. I'm going to center this here. And I'm going to mark out those holes. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And I'm just going to use my awl to punch those holes for right now. Okay, I'm just going to push that through in there. Okay. Just like such. And then I'm also going to cut a piece of Peltex that I keep on hand up here. And I'm going to put that on the back. Have a little stabilizer back there just to make it a little more secure. Okay. And I'll punch those holes out. Okay. Now I'm going to add this metal piece here, and then I'll push the screws through. I'll do one at a time, and I'll put that on the back here. Make sure the screw is coming through. And there we go. And then I'll get this on here. Let me try to get it. Okay, there we go. So we got that in place. It has a little protective film on top. I'll keep that on there so I don't scratch it up. At least I'll try to keep that on there. Okay, so we have that. What I'm going to also do is I keep little scraps of this self-adhesive foam. And I'm just going to take a little piece and I'm going to use that to cover up back here, okay, so that it doesn't rub up against the fabric here. I find this foam works really well. Okay, and it sticks really good. Okay, so there we go. So we have our lock in place. Now, after we do that, we get our lock on, and we're going to top stitch around the whole piece here. Okay, so we can get some clips going. Okay, so we're top stitching. This is this. Just burn up a little thread sticking there. Okay. So push out all the seams. Make sure everything is looking good. I don't think I pushed this side out. Let's make sure this side is pushed out well. Same thing over here. Missed this little corner. Okay. So again, it's still open, so I can go in here and push out these corners here. Okay, don't forget all the little corners and turns and things, okay? So now we're going to go ahead, like I said, we're going to top stitch around the whole thing. We can add clips if we want. Just make sure all your seams are rolled out nicely. Okay. All right. And we're going to start and stop with long threads. And it's just going to start here at the bottom. Just make sure it's all clipped and lined up nicely. Okay. There we go. And I'll just start. I'm just going to start here. 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Long threads here. Let's give it a whirl. Okay. Pivot at the corners. Okay, we're getting around to where we started. This is a bag with a lot of twists and turns. Okay, so before you get to the end, let's pull that thread from the bottom and bring that loop up, and then we're going to tie these threads off later. So let's do that, and then we're going to end right where we started, the same hole we started. Okay, and we'll trim those down. pull the thread back here and excuse me. Okay. And now we're going to take a needle and I'm going to pull these threads up through the seam and tie them off. So they're hidden down, you don't see them. So I'll start with these two. So I'm just going right through. I like to go through one of the holes here, the one here, just, and then bring it right up through the seam there, right through the middle. And then I'll tie those off. And the same with these. Uh-oh, that's my needle down in there. Drop my needle down.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. It's getting harder and harder to thread these needles. Okay, and then I'll go in through the hole, one of the holes that the thread is coming out of, and then come up through the seam here. As soon as I find my way in there. Okay, this one I'm going to come up. I think the double-sided tape is getting in my way here. But there we go. All right. All right. So now I'm just going to tie those off and give it a little singe with the lighter. And nobody will know that they were there. Okay. Okay, so trim it down, and then just a little tiny, be careful with your material, you don't want to burn your material, just singeing that, or you could put a little dab of glue if you're afraid to use the lighter. This little suede-ish material picks up everything. Okay, so now, look, we're getting close to the finish line here. So now we're going to take the bottom. So we want to have the pocket side up. This is our slip pocket. Okay. And we're going to take the bottom here and we're going to fold it up like this. Okay. And making sure that these sides meet. So our corners should meet like this. You should have that little corner there. So this little notch here, let's pinch that. We're going to clip that. Do the same thing, making sure these sides match up here. Just like that. And it's going to look like this. So you look like you have these little wings here like that, right? So that's what we're doing. And then we're going to sew that down. So clip into place. And then we're going to sew that down, back stitching. So just right here, from the beginning here down to here, we're going to, I think just with 1/8 of an inch. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. Make sure you back stitch at the beginning and the end. So making sure that lines up. Get that in there. Okay. So one side. Got that side done. Now we'll do this side. Okay. So now once you have that done, what are we doing here? So we're going to take the flaps, fold them around, and clip them. Okay. So now they said here, we're going to fold these around like such. Is that what we're doing? Just making sure. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, I just had to make sure I had folded it the right way. So we're going to clip these little flaps over. Make sure they're pretty snug. Okay, and we're going to clip, I'm going to clip them here. Do the pockets up, clip it. Make sure they're going the right way here. Okay, and then we're going to flip this over to this side. And we're going to use our ruler and we're going to place it 3/8 of an inch from the side. And we're going to make some marks. Okay, 1/2 an inch from this top. So right here, from 1/2 an inch from this top here, one mark there, and then we'll do another half. Are we doing a 1/2 inch or an inch? Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong one. Excuse me. Okay, 1/2 an inch. Continuing marking 1 inch. Okay, so spacing them out 1 inch apart. So here's another, and then another, and another. Till we have 4, we should have 4 marks. Okay, 4 marks like that. And we'll do the same thing on this side. So 3/8 of an inch in, and 1/2 an inch down, and then another, and then an inch, and 1 inch there. Okay, so we have our 4 marks on each side. And I got a little thread here. Let me burn that little thread down. Okay, now we're going to open this back up. And we're going to punch the holes just through this part here for now. So I punch 1 and a 2. It might be a little, okay, and 3. And then down here, dip down here. This one, I think we could just punch this one because it's so far down. Okay. All right. And the same thing over here. And then the last one. Okay. And then now we're going to use our pen again. And we're going to mark onto the lining here. Okay. That last one I just punched all the way through, so. Okay. And we'll see the marks there. And we'll go ahead and punch through this part now. Why is it not marking this? Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to grab our rivets. That I know I just set up here. Okay. And we're going to get our rivets. I'm going to set our rivets there. Making sure we're going through. Put this over. Get our caps on. And I'm going to set those. And we'll do the same on the other side here. Oops. And again, we'll set this side. Okay, once we have those set, let's put these rivets up here. Hold on. Now we're going to fold that back. And so once we have the rivets, now we're going to get ready to do the female portion of our lock. This is going to get folded back here like that. Okay, but first so let me mark the center here for the female portion of our lock. So I'm just going to make a line here so I know where the center is. And I think it's, how far down? 7/8. 7/8 from the edge, from the center here, from the top. So 7/8 is there. And I'll mark a line there. Okay. So I don't know if you can see, but let me just mark this, and I'll put so you can see so you see, I have marked that center. So that's where we're going to punch the hole out for this part of the lock. So again, we have screws here that I need to take out. Grab my little magnet here so I don't lose them. So you're going to get this. this, and I'm going to take the back part and I'm going to center it over that marking the best I can there, get it centered. I'm going to mark out the screw area, mark that out, and I'm also going to draw the little rectangle that needs to be cut out. Okay, so I'm going to use my dies that I have, my little punches, and I'm going to go punch out this rectangle that I've drawn on so it's nice and neat, and punch out the holes for the screws, and then I'll come back and we'll get that installed and we'll start to see this little cute little clutch come together. So I'll be back. All right, so I have the other part of my lock on. So that's what it's looking like right now. So now we're going to fold these flaps here. Okay, so I'm just going to open this up and we're going to fold. Well, I'm going to keep it closed because I think it's easier to see how to fold this when it's closed. So this is going to get folded back like that, and just making sure it's lined up on the sides. And I'm just going to clip that just like that. And the same thing over here, just folding it back, and it's lined up here, and I'm going to clip it in place like that. Okay, now I'm going to open this up so it's looking like this. Okay, and I'm going to, let me clip it down here because I need that side over there, so I'm going to clip it down here. Okay, and right here on the sides, let me just make sure that's where, I'm sorry, flip it over this way. Okay, so the front should be shown. And I'm going to add 2 more rivet marks here. So grab my pen. So right along this side here. So 3/8 in, a 1/2 inch down, and then 1 inch from that mark. So just like we did basically down here. It's just going to be 2 marks. So from that top edge, so we're going to mark a 1/2 inch and then 1 inch from that mark. So just like that, if you can see those marks. So 1 here and 1 here. And the same thing on this side. So 3/8 in, a 1/2 inch, and then 1 inch from there. Okay, and we're going to punch the holes through all layers. Oop. Turn that back. And again, we're going to add our rivets. Okay. Wrap my press again. And I'm going to set those rivets. Okay. And now that's what that's looking like there. Okay. So we have that done. Rivets. Now we're going to fold this back like we did before. Okay, making sure it's nice and taut there. We're going to punch some holes here. Okay, so, oh, it's so cute. I'm going to use my lint roller and get some of these little specks off of there, but it's looking so cute. It's looking so cute. Just tidy up some of my threads down here. Just making sure. Okay. All right. Let me take this little piece off. Put that back on later. All right. Okay. So now, like I said, we're going to punch some holes back here in these little flaps. She's, let's see, measure 3/8 in from the corner and punch a hole, and we're gonna fold it out. Okay, so I'm using this because you can put some rings on the back. I put this together. So this was just like some little chain connectors with some gate rings and some O-rings. It might be a little too long. I'm not sure. I might need to take some rings off, but I'm gonna see. So I'm gonna punch a hole. Okay, right here in my lap. I'm just eyeballing it. And just punch one there. Just not through my stitches. Just making sure I don't get my stitches. Okay. Then this gets folded over. So I'm trying to see, like, where do I want this to make sure that it looks, that it doesn't dangle too far. So I'm just going to clip it for now. Let me get a longer clip. And clip it. And I'll do the same thing with this one. And if that doesn't look good, if it's too long, then I'm going to remove some of those rings from there. But I just thought this would be cute. So let me see how that's looking. What do we think? I kind of like that.
That's cute.
Isn't that cute? This is so cute. It's so little and cute. I like it. Okay. So I think I'm pleased with that. So now I'm going to have to punch my hole here. So what I can do is I'm going to remove this from the gate ring. Just like that. So see, I have that folded over. Just make sure it's centered. Fold it over where I want it to be. And where's my hole punch? I'm going to punch my hole right there. That's about right where I want it. And once again, I'm going to add my rivet. So and I'll try to get the other one. I'll get that through. And there. Okay. So I'm gonna measure that. It's exactly an inch. So I'm gonna make sure I do this one the same. Okay. Now I want my hole to be about an inch. Fold it. I'll take these clips out. Don't need those right there. So let's see. Inch. Make sure it's folded correctly. Make sure this is folded over. This is folded over about 1 3/4. So let me make sure. I just want to make sure I'm getting it as even as possible. 1 3/4 there. That's about, and that'll be about even there, right? And if I go there, that'll be about, that's close enough. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, let's do it. Okay, and we'll set our rivet once again. Let's set this one. And we'll clip this back. Okay. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. All right. Doesn't look like I missed anything there. I think that's adorable. Okay, so basically it's done. The only other thing, okay, so let's take a look at this because it's so cute. It's cuter than I thought it was gonna be. And I love that. I love this fabric. I love that I can make the whole bag out of just this one roll of fabric, using it as the lining and the main fabric. I like that. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. Very cute back, very cute. I think it's so cute. Now the pattern does have instructions if you want to add grommets for a chain. So if you want to make this a shoulder bag with a chain strap, you would add a grommet. So I hadn't decided if I was going to do the grommet. I kind of want to so that you can see, but then I'm like, oh, do I really want to? But let's look. Let's see. So the grommet, where does she say to place the grommet? So open the flap. So we would have the flap open like this, measuring 1 inch in from the side and 2 7/8 inch down from the flap here. So 1 inch from the side and 2 7/8 inch. I'm sorry. So 1 inch in and 2 7/8 inch. So the grommet would go right here, right there. Jazzy's telling me no grommet, but you know, what does she know? Did I do that? Is that right? Jazzy, does that look like they're in the same spot? It sure doesn't. Oh, no. Something's not right. Oh, wait, no. 2 7/8, right? 2 7/8. No, this one's correct. 2 7/8. That means it would go about right there. Why is this one in a different spot? Did I not go 2 7/8? Is that right? Is that the same spot? Yeah, right there. Okay. Is that correct? Let me see. Let's fold it and make sure that those, yeah. So the grommet will go right there. Okay. So let's see. I think we're going to do a grommet, Jazzy. No, Jazzy? Yay, Jazzy?
It's up to you.
But then if I don't like it.
That's the thing.
Because the more I'm looking at this.
I feel like you don't need
the grommet should be up here, not there. So see, evidently I'm not measuring something correctly. I think it should be, see, 2 7/8. See, yeah, that would be, I'm measuring from the wrong spot. That's what I'm doing. It would be more like up here. More like up here. Like right here. So I was measuring at an angle. It's 1 inch from here and then 2 7/8 from there. I'm talking with the pen in my mouth. So it would be more like that. More like that. And that's where they will go, right there. Like this. Okay. I think it would be cute, Jazzy. No?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yay? Nay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just doing some simple grommets. Nothing fancy schmancy. I have these grommets here. And they're not fancy at all. Okay, and then I have my grommet tool somewhere. Okay, let's try it. So we're going to stick this part here and this part here. And let's hope we don't ruin the bag.
Oh.
Okay. Is that what we're doing? Okay. And I'm going to put it right over the mark like that. And I'll just squeeze. And there. And we'll push that out.
Your confidence scares me.
I mean,
like to put holes and stuff.
It's either gonna work or it's not. I hate that these aren't shiny, but whatever. We're just showing you. And I like this little tool. It makes grommets less scary. Okay, so let's get it right there. I guess that's right. And squeeze.
It just smacks them right on it.
Huh?
It just smacks them right on it.
And it cuts the hole.
Oh, that's cool.
Yay. Okay. Now, and look at that. Perfect. And we have our little pocket in the back. We got our little detail. Now we'll take a little chain here. This chain. Oh, okay. No. All right. So I think we're going to take the chain and do we run it this way? Do I want to double it or should I leave it single?
Double.
Double it? You think that's gonna be too long? Would it be too short if I leave it single? Let's see. I don't think that's too long. Let's leave it single. Okay, let's leave it single. Okay, so all I have to do is just go open this up, open one of these up, and put them together, and then we'll be done. We'll come back and we'll look at the final reveal of our Bellisima bag and see how we like it. So there we have it. I'm done with the Bellisima by ObysBagPattern. So I really think this is a cute pattern. This is a small version. I believe there's a larger one too. I chose the smaller one, and it's just so cute. I think Jazzy was right. I should have left it as just a clutch. I don't care for it with the chain, but anyway, it is what it is now, and it's okay. I do think it's adorable. I do. I mean, it's just a cute little clutch. You know, if you don't want to carry too much with you. And I like that it has the little slip pocket on the back. You can stick your phone in there, you know, and have easier access to your phone. So there it is. Quick sew, not too many pieces. And hope you'll go ahead and get the pattern. The link will be in the description for you. And make you a Bellisima bag. Have a good one.